What is something someone said to you that hit you the hardest? Never grow up, just learn to be an adult. Thanks, Dad. Never make fun of someone's laugh because they will be self-conscious about being happy. Waking up to gold is a beautiful thing, thanks. I've lived a good life. I'm ready to go, my grandma who is still physically and mentally healthy. I just wasn't ready for it. When you find someone better, please just let me down gently. Are you still with the person who said this to you? Yep, love em so much. What up? I got a new phone and went out of state for the weekend on the same day. I tried to activate the new phone but they wouldn't let me until I was back in my home state. On the drive home, one of my friends called my brother, who I was with, to get a hold of me and tell me our other friend committed suicide. Later that day I got my new phone activated and got a text from the friend that committed suicide that just said, "What up?" He must have sent it not long before he killed himself, not knowing I couldn't text back. I can't imagine how alone he must have felt. I know it sounds conceited, but I can't help but think if I was able to talk to him, maybe he wouldn't have done it. You just feel like a chore now. This happened when I was either 6 or 7. Mom, why are you always hugging me? Me, 'cause you're my mom. Mom, yeah, or you just want to feel my breasts. 20 years later and that still bothers me, 'cause that was the first time I ever felt ashamed, dirty, but I couldn't understand why. Not me, but a friend of mine was smoking on a break at work and a woman did the whole, "Why smoke? Smoking's bad" thing, and he said he just didn't have a good reason to quit, to which she said, "Son, there are people you haven't even met yet who are going to need you here." I never forgot it. I quit just a month or so after that, and I remember it whenever I'm about to do something stupid, so daily. It doesn't matter if you hit a home run or strike out, I'll always be your #1 fan. My grandpa when I was going through a very rough time. My mother once told me, "I think you've been miserable your entire life," in regards to my depression. It may sound like a horrible thing to hear, but she was not trying to upset me. She was basically saying, "You've done everything you can by yourself to try to get out of this depression, but I think it's always been there, so you need help." Last time I saw one of my friends, he told me, "Catch you on the flip side." He hung himself a week later. I'm proud of you and your brother, from my dad. He grew up with a conservative, religious, military household. Old school mentality of dad works and only is involved in family when it's time to discipline. I was always shy and depressed and hated disappointing him, and it came to a point when I started driving and got my car stuck in snow that I didn't want to tell him about it. When my mom told him, she made it clear his kids were afraid of him and he realized he had become his dad, which he hated. The change has been extreme, from a strict, work yourself to death, hard ass to a family guy. Told me on my wedding day that he was proud of me and my brother, because he never heard it from his dad. We all find you annoying. Since then, I've always been the quiet kid. I wish you could just stop caring what he says. My dad, after I got the umpteenth emotionally manipulative text from my abusive ex-husband, this was over 2 years after our divorce was finalized. My dad doesn't say much on an emotional level. So when he does say something, I know it has deep meaning. I went no contact with my ex, and remain so to this day. And I'm a much happier and more serene person for it. A coworker once told me, "All stress is relative. You have no right to undermine what someone else is going through, no matter how small compared to your stress. I think about it a lot." He was so right. I was young and being an a-hole. When I was a little girl, I adored my dad, followed him everywhere, wanted to do everything he did, and I sure tried. He was never great at saying how he felt, but I always remember saying, "I love you, Daddy." And he always replied, "I love you, daughter." When I was a preteen, he had no idea what to do with me, and backed off hard. I was super awkward as a preteen teenager, and our relationship was super rocky. We had a lot of hurtful exchanges, and I spent as little time at home as I could. In the summer of 2007, I wrote him a letter, telling him that the way he distanced himself from me was hurtful, and that I didn't know how to deal with the harshness of our current relationship, but that I still loved him and wanted to try and move past our painful interactions and rebuild our relationship. He never responded to most of it, but told me he was sorry, and wanted to fix things, too. That winter, he was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. I moved home and took over household things, helping deal with doctors, physical therapists, and eventually hospice. My mom was, understandably, a mess, and I tried hard to hold it together for them. Things were getting bad, he was fading hard. One night I went in to say goodnight to him, and in a wave of nostalgia, I said, "I love you, Daddy." He hadn't spoken all day, his throat was dry, he was on massive doses of morphine, but he still whispered back to me, "I love you, daughter." He slipped into a coma that night, and never spoke another word. After the birth of my first child at age 17, my aunt told me, "This is your responsibility. This child didn't ask to be here. Didn't ask for you as a mother, didn't ask for him as a father. It's going to be hard, but it's not his fault he is here." Really made me step up and try my hardest to be a good mother. I hear her voice every time I see a news story about child abuse or neglect. You can be the sweetest peach on the peach tree, but not everyone likes peaches. I love you. My grandma always believed in showing love, not saying it. She believed actions spoke louder than words. 4 days before she passed away, she told me she loved me. I was shocked at this, but I told her I loved her too. It was so unlike her. I now realize that maybe she said it because, with how weak she was due to the sickness, she felt like she couldn't show it. I don't know. Maybe I'll never know. But that was when I knew that she didn't have much time left. These people, these managers and these directors and all those other coworkers who are marginally above you, they don't give a flat fucking shit about you. Protecting you is not in their interests. The only things they are protecting are the company, because that keeps the paychecks coming, and if they have to choose you over their bills, then they will fuck you every single time. So don't ever trust them, no matter how much they sound like they are going to bat for you, no matter how fucking sincere those bastards seem like they are being. That was my coworker Matt, before he quit his job when we worked together as an insurance adjuster. Made me really open my eyes and realize how people behave at offices and see through corporate bullshit. My mom once told me when I was a teenager that it took a lot of courage to take your own life, and you could do a lot with that courage instead of killing yourself. It's not exactly earth-shaking, but I never understood playing games with cheats. From time to time I'd use them, but I had friends who'd barely play a game without using cheats. Out of the blue, years after I was big into gaming, I visited a friend who was playing GTA 4. She was playing with cheats and I asked her why. She says, "All day I have to deal with consequences, this is the one time I don't have to." It completely 180 my viewpoint. I've never had so much make sense, change my opinion, by one simple sentence. She suffers with depression, so for me, it ran a lot deeper than just playing games. It made me think twice about questioning the things people enjoy or how they live their lives. I never thought something so trivial could hold such poignance. I was at an interview recently and there was a young man about my age who turned to me and said, "Hey, bro, can you help me tie this necktie?" I didn't have a dad to teach me growing up, so I still don't know how to do it. That really struck a heartstring with me. The fact that this man I barely even knew felt confident revealing something so vulnerable make me instantly respect him. It was strange, but I got the impression that he was someone I could be good friends with. We both got hired. I look forward to working with him soon. Edit, many of you were wondering why he didn't Google how to tie his necktie. This was a law enforcement oral board exam, psychological interview we were both attending. The academy instructors had pulled us from the auditorium where they were keeping all the recruit candidates so we could get fitted for our BDUs, PT gear and polos. As such, we were told to leave all our belongings except the suits on our backs. No phones are allowed in that part of the academy anyway. Hope you enjoyed. Hit hard both on each side of the situation. Then girlfriend, as we were breaking up, admitted she was nervous about doing it herself because she was worried I'd kill myself. I said I felt the same way, vice versa. And I still hear that conversation in my head. "You have an energy I've always found challenging," by way of saying "I don't wanna talk to you anymore," felt like out of the blue. Was meant to be kind, I think. Fucking ouch. Uncle committed suicide when I was a little kid. When I asked my mom how he died, she said he was depressed. I asked, "Depression can kill someone?" She said, "It can if you're sad enough." Here I am about 20 years later. "I'm so proud of you," said to me by my swim coach after I came in last, 5 minutes after everybody else. I realized then that nobody had ever been proud of me before for something I didn't succeed in. Everybody shows pride when you succeed. When you give your best and come up short anyway, having someone still be proud of your effort means the absolute world. We broke up because of you. I've been going through a rough patch lately. Last night was a friend's birthday dinner that I was invited to where I don't know anyone. I figured I would stay for a drink and excuse myself. His friends are kind of snobs and very elitist. If you aren't some supermodel millionaire they won't look at you. I was nervous and at one point a guy came up to me and said, "You don't belong here, you don't dress like them, act like them, or talk like them. That's what I like about you." And that meant a lot to me because I wanted to be accepted in the in group because I've been feeling shitty and thought it would make me feel better. But that comment made me very emotional, so to Dylan at the party, thank you a lot. One day, you'll wake up next to the ugly girl you're dating and you'll shame our family. Yesterday is heavy. Put it down. Nothing is enough for you. Never, my father said it so desperately, like he was asking me to stop doing something I never understood he meant. I truly felt so guilty for everything that happened in my family after that, but when he said it I finally understood that my mind and soul were so full of anxiety that I never saw what I had but what I lacked.